Everyone. Today we'll begin an exciting journey into the basics of the Russian language. Our main focus will be on personal pronouns, nouns, gender, and possessive pronouns in the singular form. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to learn and practice personal pronouns in both singular and plural forms, understand the three genders of Russian nouns, masculine, feminine, and neuter, learn how to use possessive pronouns such as my, your, his, and her with singular nouns, create simple sentences using these words to express yourself clearly. This lesson is designed to help you build a strong foundation for speaking and understanding Russian. Are you ready? Let's get started and make learning fun and engaging. First, we have я, which means I. Next is ты, which means you. This is used when talking to one person informally. Then we have он, he, он. Она, which means she, она. Following that is оно, translates as it. This used for neuter nouns and objects, animals, or things in Russian. Note that Russians don't typically say оно for people, only for objects and sometimes animals when the gender is neutral or unknown. So use оно mainly for things, animals, or abstract ideas. Now let's look at мы, which means we, мы. Вы, you, вы. This is used when speaking to more than one person or for formally to one person. So keep in mind that ты is used in informal cases and you should use вы if you want to sound formally. Next is они, which means they. Now take a moment to repeat these words after me. Я, ты, он, она, оно, мы, вы, они. Now that you know the pronouns, let's learn how to make simple sentences in Russian. I'll show you some examples with each pronoun and you can practice repeating after me. Я студент. I'm a student. Я студент. Ты мой друг. Ты мой друг. Он учитель. Он учитель. Она врач. Она врач. Мы туристы. Мы туристы. Вы пилоты. Вы пилоты. Они задиры. Они задиры. We're going to talk about an essential aspect of the Russian language, the gender of nouns. In Russian, nouns are divided into three genders: masculine, feminine, and neuter. In Russian, мужской род, женский род, and средний род. This may seem simple at first, but understanding noun gender is crucial because it affects how words are used and how sentences are structured. It helps us correctly match adjectives and pronouns with nouns. It ensures clear and grammatically accurate communication. So, how do you recognize the gender of noun? From the dictionary form of a noun, here's how you can tell what the gender is. So first, look at the last letter of the word. If it's consonant or y sound, then this word is masculine. For example, город, d consonant, остров, v, музей, y, дом, чай, друг. And if the last letter of the word is a or ya, then this is feminine noun. For example, страна, a, улица, a, газета, a, деревня, я, идея, я. If the last letter of the noun is o or ye, then this is neuter. For example, яблоко, о, озеро, о, море, е, поколение, здание. If the last letter of the noun is soft sign, then it could be either masculine or feminine. For example, рубль, ночь, словарь, площадь. We will discuss about how to differentiate genders of these kinds of nouns in the next slide. There are very few exceptions to these rules, but there are 5 notable exceptions. This occurs mainly because of physical gender. For example, papa. This noun ends with R, but it cannot be in feminine gender because papa is male. So that's why papa is in masculine gender. The same is with other nouns. For example, дедушка, grandfather, дядя, uncle, мужчина, man, юноша, boy. The same is here. Мать, mother, is female, that's why this noun is in feminine gender. Дочь, daughter. Свекровь, mother-in-law. Also, male names is always in masculine gender and the female names is always in feminine gender. In these cases, last letter is not important. For example, Vova ends with R, but it in feminine gender because Vova is the name of a male. Carmen, it ends with consonant, but it is in feminine gender because this is the girl's name. In Russian, names of cities and names of islands always in masculine gender because the word город, which means city, and the word остров, which means island, ends with consonant, and that's why they are in masculine gender. So city Tokyo, what it translates as город Tokyo in masculine gender. So the names of rivers and the names of newspapers are in feminine gender because river translates as река, which ends with a in feminine gender, and газета, which is newspaper, also ends with r and it is also in feminine gender. That's why река Mississippi is a feminine noun. Also note some exceptions to the rules of Russian language. For example, coffee, coffee, ends with ye, but this noun is in masculine gender. The same is here. Имя, такси, жюри, время, меню, interview. All of them is in neuter gender. The gender of these nouns need only be remembered. Now, nouns with a soft sign as a last letter. There is a diagram with different endings of the nouns which ends with soft sign. Endings in blue related to masculine gender and in green to feminine gender. In this case, we just have to remember which endings are in masculine, which are in feminine. So for example, if the nouns ends with ost, it will be in feminine gender. For example, кость, bone, радость, дочь, ложь. Or for masculine gender, тель, учитель, teacher, январь, January. Let's have some words for each gender. For masculine gender, рюкзак, consonant, кошелек, компьютер, паспорт, consonant, билет, телефон, ключ. For feminine gender, страна, Россия, я, кошка, семья, дорога, собака, машина. For neuter gender, письмо, о, кафе, е, облако, небо, вино, море, солнце. Now pause the video and try to determine the gender of the given nouns. Вода ends with R, that's why it's feminine gender. Хлеб, consonant, masculine gender. Женщина, A, ends with R, also it describes female, that's why this is feminine gender. Мужчина, man, masculine gender. Врач, consonant, masculine gender. Учительница, A, feminine gender. Ванная, я, feminine gender. Кровать ends with ать, that's why this is masculine gender. Неделя ends with я, it's feminine gender. Год, the consonant, masculine gender. Секунда, a, feminine gender. Минута, a, feminine gender. Час, s, consonant, masculine gender. Вода, a, feminine gender. Кофе. This is exception from the rule, that's why this is just should be remembered, masculine gender. Чай, я, masculine gender. Now we are focusing on possessive pronouns in Russian, specifically their singular forms. These pronouns indicate ownership or relationship between someone and a specific object or person. In Russian, possessive pronouns must agree in gender with the nouns they describe. That's why, for example, for the possessive pronoun my, we have three versions to use. Мой for masculine nouns, моя for feminine, and моё for neuter. The same with your. We have also three options here for each gender. Твой, masculine. Твоя, feminine. Твоё, neuter. So, y is consonant, masculine. Я, ending for feminine. Ё, е, о for neuter. So in this case, your describes or used for singular or informal cases. His, его, her, её. Both of them is used for all genders, masculine, feminine, and neuter. Let's have some examples here. Noun, книга, ends with R. This is feminine gender. That's why if we want to say my book, we should use my for feminine gender. Моя. Моя книга. If we want to say your book, then we have to use твоя. Твоя книга. His book, его. Her book, ее книга. So next noun, дом, ends with M, consonant, masculine gender. We should use мой, твой. For example, мой дом, my house. Твой дом, your house. Его дом, his house. Ее дом, her house. So next noun is дерево. Дерево ends with O. It means that this noun has neuter gender. So we should use моё and твоё. Моё дерево, my tree. Твоё дерево, его дерево, её дерево. So how should we say this is my something? We already learned that this translates as это. So let's have some examples here. Это моя мама. Это твой автомобиль. Автомобиль. Иль. Masculine gender. That's why we use твой. Это ее подарок. Это моя кукла. Kukla ends with R, feminine gender, that's why we use моя. Это его гитара. Гитара ends with R, but in this case, gender is not important because его is used for all genders. Это мое мороженое. Е, neuter gender, that's why we use мое. Это твой кофе. Coffee ends with ye, but this is masculine gender, that's why we used твой instead of твое. Это твой кофе. Это мой дедушка. Дедушка ends with R, but дедушка is male, that's why we used masculine gender. Это мой дедушка. Now we have an exercise here. We have to determine the gender of given nouns and write them in right column. You can pause the video and try to do this exercise, and you can check it in the next slide. One more exercise. Pause the video, try to do it, and check in the next slide. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Keep practicing and see you next time. Goodbye.